嗨，大家好，又到了新的一周要跟大家见面了。刚才我们看的这个歌曲的 MV 是非常有名的一部日本科幻小说改编的动画片，它叫做《银河英雄传说》，讲的是帝国的皇帝和这个主角是一个是帝国的皇帝，一个是 democracy 的这个共和国的伟大将军杨威利他们之间的这种战斗。这个故事我们讲给大家看这个小小的这个音乐片段呢，主要是也是为了引入我们今天的主题，就是雅典的民主制度。那么我们有请北坤老师给大家讲讲今天我们的主题。
Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to another class about Greek civilization. Today we will mainly be talking about Athenian democracy as well as their political laws and such. And yes, the opening was a music video from Legend of Galactic Heroes. It is a very popular anime. All right, so Athens, we go back far before the Peloponnesian and the Persian Wars. And so the first signs of the Athenian democracy were the Draconian laws. The Draconian laws were very, very cruel, and many people there stood up against it. So it was soon changed. Now, let's see a few examples. First is two children. They steal their neighbor's apples, but it's just a few apples, nothing much. So what do you guys think? According to the Draconian laws, how do you guys think they would be punished? Does anybody know how?
Death.
Poseidon.
I remember, like in the old laws, sometimes when someone speaks and when the teacher speaks and someone else speaks, then people will have to cut her tongue or his tongue. So probably if they steal a few apples, either they'll have to pay 10 times more, or maybe they'll get hanged or something.
Yes, that was very close. Brian.
Crucifixion.
Sorry, what was that?
Crucifixion.
Oh, yeah. Well, in the end, both they were killed. So basically, most small crimes and big crimes, they were all punished by death. And just because you stole two apples doesn't mean that they will let you get off easily. They will still kill you. So now let's look at another story. This one you guys may have heard about. It's a very traditional Chinese story about a farmer. So the farmer was working in the field one day, and then a rabbit, probably dizzy from the heat, ran into a stump and then died. So the farmer now had rabbits to eat for the day. So then the next day he didn't do anything, and he just waited for another rabbit to hit the stump and die. Of course, we now would say that he's either stupid or just naive. But back then, how do you guys think he would be punished for being lazy by the Draconian laws? Brian?
Yes.
Poseidon?
I think he would be maybe forced to work and labor, or he would, I don't know, get eaten himself or fed to the lions.
Well, he was killed. So basically, idleness and laziness would also result in death, mostly because Draco, he made these laws very, very strict. By the way, have you guys read Harry Potter? Have you guys read Harry Potter?
Yeah, I'm going to the, what is it called? Orlando Resort to see a mimic of Harry Potter world.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys know Draco Malfoy from Harry Potter, right? this is part of the reason why J.K. Rowling named Draco Malfoy after this Draco, the maker of the Draconian laws, because in the book Draco Malfoy is often described as rude and mean and and just like all the characteristics, like the bad characteristics, and we could also describe the Draconian laws as such.
其实在很久以前，那个雅典这个地方，他们是没有法律的，他们原来是有国王的，然后有国王的时候，然后大家只能听国王或者是贵族的，根本没有法律。然后这个事情呢，我觉得那个北宫可以给大家多讲一讲。
So back then, even though, Draconian laws are harsh, you get killed for every small thing, but at least there is law, because let's look back to Thucydides' trap. Do you guys still remember the story about the rabbit that got beaten up by the wolf?
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically that was what was the situation before the Draconian laws. But after the Draconian laws, the rabbit would only get beaten by the wolf if the rabbit didn't wear a hat. So if the rabbit did wear a hat, the wolf can't beat the rabbit up. So basically, we added some restraint, not much, but it's still a good progress.
The law is too strict, so some people say that written by
ink and blood.
Yeah,
the laws
in blood instead of ink.
The laws were so strict that there was legend that they were written in blood. And Draco himself, they said that he asked why he made death penalty for most crimes, not all, of course. He said that he thought that lesser ones deserved it, and the greater ones, there were no heavier penalty that could be found. So yeah, Draco probably thinks it's pretty fair, but to us now, we have more fair laws now, but we think it's probably very, very unfair. But back then, it was a considerable progress. Well, at least you won't get killed over nothing. Poseidon, do you have a question?
And I remember, is it in some countries they still punish, they still use death as a punishment if you murder someone, but in Canada and the USA, they don't. Even if you kill someone, you'll just get locked in jail for a while, which I don't think is fair.
Yeah. And going off of that, and even this farmer, even though he would be killed in the Draconian laws, however, in some countries like Canada, he wouldn't actually receive any form of punishment. Instead, he would even be given money to help him survive.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's very good, because it's his own fault for not doing anything. But of course, many people have different beliefs, and I won't really do anything about it.
Draco 的法律确实是很奇怪的，它还有一些很奇特的那些规定。一会儿那个北空会给大家翻译一下。比如说，他要求女生出门的时候不能带超过3条的裙子，然后还要求如果你自杀的话，需要得到政府的允许，要政府批准你了，你才能够自杀。没有经过政府允许的自杀是犯罪行为。可以解释一下。
So even though Draco had many weird laws, at least people knew what to do. However, the laws were still very weird, such as women could only bring up to 3 dresses when going out, and even if you want to suicide, you have to get permission from the government, and they had to give you permission to do it. So if you suicide without their permission, you are in big trouble, even though you're already dead.
Yeah, so what's the point? You can suicide.
Yeah, but so basically your family, your property, your wealth, they will get things done too.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay.
Let's watch a video about how this one guy got punished by the Draconian laws.
And there were plenty of stupid deaths in the ancient Greek city of Athens when a bloke called Draco was in charge. He was super, super strict.
The Court of Historical Law is now in session. Today, we are using laws from the ancient Greek city of Athens, prosecuting all the way from the year 621 BC, the great, the all-powerful Draco, ruler of the Athenian people, philosopher and lawmaker, and the accused, Seth.
So then, Seth, if that is indeed your real name, I put it to you that on the night of the 12th day, in the orchard of Darius Palagopoulos, you did wantonly, brazenly, and with malice of forethought, steal an apple.
What? Stealing an apple? Is that what this is about?
Did you or didn't you?
Yeah, I nicked an apple. So who do I owe an apple to?
I'm afraid that under my draconian law, the theft of an apple is punishable by, let's see, shall we? Death!
What?
Guards, take him away and make him dead.
Wait! No, I remember now. I didn't steal an apple. I distinctly remember standing in the orchard and making a point of not stealing any apple.
But you were in the orchard, which sounds like trespassing to me, which, under draconian law, is punishable by death! Guards, take him away and make him dead!
Whoa, hang on. No, it's all becoming clear now. I was nowhere doing nothing. On the night in question, I just sat around, nowhere in particular, doing nothing whatsoever.
In which case we shall drop all charges of theft and trespassing against you, and replace them instead with a charge of idleness, which under draconian law is punishable by tickling! Well, that's not right. Death! Guards, take him away and make him dead. Unless you can think of something worse than death, in which case, do that too. Okay?
This is an outrage!
Well, not a bad result, I'd say. I mean, you have to take a hard line with these lawbreakers.
Actually, I think you'll find that was my apple.
And yes, basically, like anything you would do would result in death. So you had to be very, very careful about following the rules. And because of the cruelness of the draconian laws, many people were very unsatisfied and revolted against it. And so next we bring out our next lawmaker, Solon. In BC 640, he came in and he replaced Draco's harsh laws with much milder ones. And he also took off, shaking off burdens of many people in debt slavery. And this act was called Sisaktia. I didn't write it here, but yeah, it's just a term. So basically what the debt slavery was about is that if you earn $6, 5 of those dollars would go to the person that you're working for, like your boss. And so $1 isn't enough for you to feed for yourself. So many people would get sold into slavery and such. So Solon decided to abolish all of these debts and release many people from debt slavery. And they don't have to pay their debts anymore, no matter if it's to another person or to the government. However, anything that they lost during their debt slavery will not be repaid because that's before he came in, not his problem. So he also made it so that not just back then only aristocrats could be generals, which were basically the highest ranking in Athens. He made it so that wealthy people could also be generals. So now,
okay,
go ahead.
就是那这些人他们没有土地了，他们该怎么办呢？他们就算没有那个债务的话，他们也没法活下去啊。
Well, they could get a job.
What job?
So basically, they could he basically told them to go, and basically they had a fresh start once basically after their debt slavery ended. Soren didn't give them anything as like a payment, but just told them that basically they didn't have anything dragging them down. They could go and start like a business, and earn money without having to pay almost like 90% of it to their bosses. All right, now let's look at the hierarchy. So Soren ranked the hierarchy sort of by wealth. So first is a very, very long term, which I don't very want to say it, but it's called Pentacosmoi. So basically, it's like the highest ranking where you have 500 medimnoi, which is like their currency or like their status ranking annually. They earn that much annually. So that means they are eligible to serve as generals or military governors. Next is Hippias, like the second class, valued at 300 medimnoi, and they have, back then they had to supply their own weapons if they ever go to war. So they have enough money to equip themselves for cavalry. Basically, they could have like better armor, more protected. Next is Sujitai, 200 medimnoi, and they could be like infantry, like hoplites. We did have a hoplite video a few lessons ago. And lastly, at the very bottom is Thetis, valued to about 199 medimnoi or less. So they barely had any money to get any equipment for themselves. So if they ever go to war, the most they can do is get a few sticks and, whack them with a few sticks and throw a few stones. Or they could go and carry the other people's bags for them.
Just for the men, but the woman is exempt from the citizens.
Yeah, they were excluded, which, yeah. All right, and Soren was succeeded by his cousin, Pisistratus, and Pisistratus was also a very good leader, although he was also called a tyrant of Athens. However, now, if we hear the term tyrant, we will think like of a very bad leader, somebody like
Hitler.
Yeah, we would call him a tyrant. However, tyrant it means like ruling with an unfair power, but that doesn't mean that you technically use it for bad causes. Like if Hitler used his power to make a charity for the Jewish people, then that's actually a good thing. Charity is good. But sometimes if you use it for bad things, which we will not talk about now, it's actually like a bad tyrant. And because tyrant is associated with unfair, it is usually associated with bad. But Pisistratus is a good tyrant, and he actually used his power well and treated the citizens of Athens fairly. He created many holidays, and which developed a more community sense of Athenians. So, for example, usually people they don't really interact with each other. So, but the holidays, people all come out and they socialize and such and get more friends. And
during the big party and then meet each other.
And even if some people don't want to go, he also established that there would be free food on the festivals and such, so that even if you don't want to go, it's free food. So why not? So that made many people, have a more sense of community. However, Pisistratus was followed by Hippias. Do you guys still remember Hippias? Hippias from the Persian War. Do you guys still remember him?
Give a hint.
Okay, so Hippias was a Greek trader. Do you guys remember him now?
Yeah, I think I remember.
Yeah, he is the one who led the Persian army to the Marathon plains. Rami, do you have a question?
Are we still on the same slideshow?
What same slideshow?
Like the Solon one?
Yeah, we're still on Solon.
Okay.
Yeah. Your computer is fine. Okay. So Hippias, he had an unfair rule. So we shall go on to somebody who was in conflict with Hippias.
他还跟很多的那些城邦关系都处得非常非常的好，你也可以跟大家介绍一下，甚至包括斯巴达。
But let's first move on then.
Okay.
So we go on to Clisthenes. He was against Hippias at the time, but then was exiled. And so but like at that time, exiling a person means that they can't ever go back. So Clisthenes, he went to Delphi, the Oracle of Delphi. He once supplied for a repair for Delphi, who ordered for, just normal marble, but he supplied them with like the best quality marble. So the Oracle of Delphi was very, very thankful to him.
Yeah, same price, but best quality marble.
Yeah. However, at that time, Hippias was already ruling tyrannically, so Clisthenes asked the Oracle of Delphi for a favor to let the Oracle of Delphi to then ask, who do you think he made the Oracle of Delphi ask who to get Hippias out of Athens?
Clisthenes?
Brian?
The gods.
Well, in the end, Hippias did leave, but we know that gods aren't real. Poseidon?
Is it Clisthenes?
No. It was a neighboring country. It was a country that they fought together with in the Peloponnesian War. Who is the most powerful Greek city-state?
Either Sparta or Athens.
Yes, it's Sparta. Because at that time, Hippias was ruling Athens, so it's Sparta. So Sparta then went and got Hippias exiled, and then the first time the first time they refused because they were actually on good terms with Hippias, but then the Oracle of Delphi asked it again, and so they did.
Yeah.
And then Clisthenes then went back because Hippias was then exiled, and Hippias went to Persia to later, be a very big meanie. So then Clisthenes, he established another set of laws. Well, not another set of laws, but more like revised the old set of laws. So first, he established like more power to the 10 clans of Athens. Athens had 10 clans, and each clan would give 51 people. So one person from each clan would be a general in the 10 generals of Athens. And then he also established 500 citizen community sort of to also like vote on political things. And within those 550 from each clan, and one of those 50 would be elected from their own clan to be like a representative. And that was like a major change. And then we have another major change, which was ostracism. Have you guys ever heard of the word ostracism? And if you have, what do you guys think it means? You guys know what ostracism means? Poseidon?
Is it autism?
No, ostracism.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay. So ostracism, it means to exclude someone from a certain group and to stay away from them. So this is what it's about. So like Clisthenes was actually the first person to be ostracized because he was exiled. So basically, every year, they would ask the people of Athens a question, and they would vote on these.
陶片或者贝壳。
Yeah, these things. They would carve someone's name on it, or they could just say that they didn't want to vote. So basically, the question was, do you think that somebody needs to leave Athens? And if so, who? So basically, if people are unsatisfied with someone, they could make them leave. However, it was kindly asking them to leave instead of go away, you're not welcome here, we're gonna kick you out. And because this was sort of like a vacation, except for 10 years. They were exiled for 10 years. Their property and their wealth was untouched. It was just that they couldn't physically be in the city to do political things. So basically, nothing really changed except the person isn't here.
对，就是陶片放逐法的话，它是比较缓和的一些方法，你可以继续讲一讲。
Oh yeah, and another thing is that Athens' population was about 30,000 at the time. So they had to get 6,000 people to vote on the same person in order to kick them out. So that was about 1/5 of the whole population, which is pretty much. However, technically, if they have more than that person might get a more severe punishment. But usually not.
对，它主要就是为了防止出现害怕有一些人他的那个野心膨胀，然后变成下一个建筑，他们再也不想受建筑的统治。
Yeah, they don't want another person like Hippias. Another thing is there was a person called Aristides. Aristides the Just. He was justly. However, one time he saw many people voting him, and he just went up to and asked a person what has Aristides done to you? And the person says nothing. But I just hate him because everybody calls him the Just. And so Aristides, he decided to vote himself as well because, he put the citizens in front of his own feelings. So he got exiled for a bit, and then later he came back after that time.
对，在这个之前呢，就是雅典的这些政治斗争，然后两派人政治斗争会非常的残酷，然后会导致就是有一些人他们就会被从肉体上被消灭掉，就是被 kill 掉。但是在这个事情上头，陶片放逐法呢，就是它会把你放逐出去之后，你的 reputation 和你的这个财产都不会受到影响，然后他们觉得你还不错的时候，还可以把你招回来，而留下的这个人他们觉得不好呢，又可以放逐出去，所以说是比较缓和的，也防止了这个公民就是失去自己的公民吧。然后 please translate for me.
So basically, back before this law was made, people would settle arguments in the old-fashioned way. Basically, they would fight and kill someone. So, but after a bit, Athens didn't have much population to lose. So, exiling someone was a better option. And basically, it can be, recalled if the person that they choose to exile was actually good and the person that they decide to keep was bad, they could switch them around and exile the other person and get that person back. They could always change their mind, unlike if someone dies, you can't change your mind about that. Poseidon, do you have a question?
I'm not sure if it is the same, but usually in Rome, when you get exiled, like in Athens, it's pretty similar. But when you get exiled, sometimes it means that you committed a crime, and you might get exiled in different ways. You might get kicked out of the city, or you might get thrown down a well.
Oh, that's Rome. I don't really know much about Rome, so maybe I'll look into it after. All right, let's move on to the next video. It's a very short one explaining about like a modern day example of ostracism. And don't be like those kids.
It
Don't-
looks like bullying.
Yeah, don't ostracize other people. It's mean.
Why aren't you all eating with me today? We have decided to exclude you from our group. We're not going to speak or play with you anymore. But why is that? It's like the political practice of ostracism in ancient Greece that we were taught in class today. Are you guys just experimenting it on me? Maybe.
Yes, and that was like example at school of ostracism.
这个陶片放逐法，肯定是有它很多的缺点的，因为它经常会放逐一些确实是非常有能力、对城邦有贡献的人，比如说我们之前在波西战争讲到过的那些英雄们啊，他们也都波西战争和那个什么。和伯罗奔尼撒战争里头有很多很有名的这种将军，他们都被放逐过。比如蒂米斯托克利就是被放逐了，对，被陶片放逐之后，他就去了波斯。然后还有克蒙真的是百战百胜的将军。后来雅典成为一个大帝国，几乎就是克蒙打下的江山，但是他也是被这个雅典人民放逐了。就大家会觉得，都有的时候不是你犯了错，只是因为你觉得你太好、太有能力了，他们就会把你放逐掉。Please translate.
So many heroes of Athens were all exiled, such as Themistocles and Cimon. Cimon was a very fierce warrior who fought for Athens and like bowed many battles. He almost never lost. However, in the end, he was still exiled. Sometimes it isn't because you're not popular. It's just because you're too popular that you're exiled.
It's not your fault.
Yeah.
Just because you are too good.
Just built different.
Yes.
People will be jealous of you.
Yeah.
Not jealous. They're
It's
just afraid.
Yeah.
Afraid to be a tyrant.
Yeah,
Yes.
tyrant.
Yeah.
All right. Next is Pericles. Do you guys remember Pericles?
Do you remember?
Remember him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm. All right. So Pericles was he put up many other laws, such as remember from before our four different social statuses. So basically, every profession from now, except for the general, because the general was like such a important sort of profession. It was every other profession was decided by like drawing lots. So that I'm not sure if that's very fair. But do you guys think? But do you guys think that in the first place, deciding who gets what job by wealth? Do you guys think that is fair?
No. I think what's fair is like what depends on your skill.
Yeah, of course it isn't fair, but back then it was plenty fair compared to the draconian laws. Okay, now another question. Do you guys think that drawing lots for a job is fair? Like, it's almost as if it's like a lottery. Poseidon?
No, because like you're drawing stuff and that's just boring, except if you get a high pay, that's just fun.
No, I mean drawing lots as in like sort of like randomizing. Like it's like a lottery.
Oh yeah, but will you like it's just kind of like a waste of time.
All right. Patrick?
I think it's unfair because, like, for example, if you like have a farming job, and then you have like absolutely no experience with farming, how are you supposed to do that?
I mean, it's like you sign up for a job and then like a bunch of other people sign up for the job and then you draw lots to see who gets it. And Brian, did you have something to say?
I want to say, I think it would be fair unless, if there's like not equal amounts of sticks.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So then he also replaced voting with just drawing lots. And now let's talk about process of getting a job in Athens. So first, the process of getting a job is actually very, very long and very, very hard back then. So first of all, they would need to check your family. Like if your parents have ever committed serious crimes.
Your parents, your siblings, where you come from,
Mhm.
just like that. It's the first
Okay.
first one.
They would also check your records of your crime. So like if you committed murder, then they would obviously say no. Or like other crimes, it depends on the severity. And then after that,
What about if you steal an apple? Will they still let you in?
yeah, they would. No, this is past the draconian law, so they would let you in.
They wouldn't care if you stole one single apple?
Yeah, you'll get the job if you steal an apple. This isn't like the draconian laws. You wouldn't die if you steal an apple anymore. It's more peaceful now. The times of war are over.
Because the city is very important
Mhm.
for the essence. Yeah.
Poseidon.
At first, I thought like if you steal an apple when Patrick or someone said it, I was like, you already be dead. How can you get a job? But then like said that you won't die.
Yeah. All right, let's continue. So then if you can't pass the record check, then you are refused, you get like fired, you go to trial, and then after the trial you either get,
Punishment or death.
punishment. Either you get killed or you pay them like a bunch of money.
Yes.
A lot of money.
Mhm.
So if you pass the record check, then you get the job. But then you have to keep up your reputation during the job. So that's 10 vote of confidence 10 times a year. Which is basically like people, they vote whether like you should continue or not. So basically any time of the year when there's a vote, if you aren't doing your job right, then you get like you get fired, and then you get put on trial, and then you go back to either getting killed or paying a bunch of money.
Yeah.
So if you pass all 10 times, then you turn in a report, and if the report doesn't pass, then you go back to trial again, and you either get killed or pay money. And then if the report passes, then you finish your job, and then you get like a new one or get the same one next year. So basically jobs are temporary, lasting only 1 year.
Not very easy for
Yeah.
the essence.
Athenians.
Athenians, yes.
Poseidon?
I've heard like the job of being kind of like a president. They also last for 1 year. Is that true?
Presidents,
Well,
modern day
president.
Democracy, then 4 years.
Modern day
I mean, like in the Athens times.
Athens had 10 generals, I think. Yeah, most of them lasted for 1 year.
Oh, because like I heard that like you have two people and both has 1 year to accomplish stuff.
所以说雅典的官员其实像大家所担心的那种，可能随便选一个上去，然后没有能力，然后这种情况是很少的，他们大部分人都还是挺不错的。
Because if you didn't have any skill, you would get killed. Not killed. You would get either killed or forced to pay. So do you guys think this process of like checking your family, checking your records, and then like voting, reporting, do you think that is a fair process of getting a job? Do you guys think it's fair?
If you think that's fair, sum up.
Yeah. Or you can say.
Not fair, friend. Oh.
Technically, it is pretty fair because if you don't, and if you don't do a good job, you can get off. But Athenians are strict. All right, so let's move on to the next subject, which is the Argonauts trial. Argonauts trial was a trial after the Argonauts battle, which was BC 506. The Peloponnesian War ended at BC 504.
在那之前，我们先讲一讲这个他们这些制度的一些弱点，好不好？为什么会导致这个审判的发生，好吗
？Yeah，
就是比如说这种抽签的制度啊，比如说这种，你可以说一下。
So, this what the Argonauts side battle was about on the Navy.
Yeah. 就是有的时候吧，就是这种在雅典，所有的平民他都，伯利克利时代还有一个特别好的地方是，他把所有的职位向所有的人开放，就是不管你是贫穷还是富有，然后他们会。伯利克利就是给这些来做官的这些穷人，会给他们发一些钱，然后保证他们能够安心的完成他们的工作。那这样子的话，就是全社会的所有人都参与到了这个权力的这种分配，然后都来参与了这个国家的治理。但是这种制度，有它的好处，就是大家的热情都被激发出来了。但是它的弱点就是这个人民吧，有的时候是很任性的，又容易被鼓动。他们经常就是反复无常，今天觉得你是英雄，明天就会把你送入审判席。比如说，之前我们说的波西战争时候最大的英雄那个米泰亚德，就刚刚才在那个波西战争里面打了那么大的胜仗，结果回来没多久就被就因为小小的一次战役失利，就被雅典人投入大狱，然后罚款，然后他后来因为腿摔断了嘛，在监狱里面就死了。然后在那个伯罗奔尼撒战争的时候也是一样的，就是刚刚蒂米斯托克利刚刚才是给那个国家做出了那么大的贡献，转眼就把他给放逐了。然后还有非常厉害的，他们后期伯罗奔尼撒战争后期非常有名的将军，然后西皮亚德也是正要去西西里打仗，然后国家要把他招回来，想要判他死刑，然后那个西皮亚德太了解雅典人的德行了，转头就跑了，投靠了斯巴达。然后 please translate for me, so long, sorry.
So basically, the people of Athens were very treacherous. One day they may look up to you as a hero. One day they may just throw you in jail and put you on death trial. So many people, such as many generals during wars, Miltiades, they were all exiled, and even though they fought for Athens and such. However, in the Argonauts side trial, it was even more of a disaster. It was originally going to be towards the end of the Peloponnesian War. It was a navy battle that Athens actually won. However, even though they won, the generals that were sent to the battle were still killed. So let me explain how this whole thing happened. So at the beginning, Athens had to scrunch up together an emergency fleet of 150 ships. However, the soldiers on these ships were citizens, not like professional soldiers. So I will talk about how this affected the later events. So then Sparta had a total of 140 ships, which is 10 ships less if you do the math. However, Sparta had better trained warriors. They were professional fighters, unlike Athens' emergency fleet. So Sparta, however, they were less prepared for a navy battle, as Athens was already like the navy superpower at the time. They had the best navy at the time, and so they actually were better trained. But in the end, there was like a giant storm that caused both sides some injuries. Sparta lost about 70 ships and Athens lost about 25 ships. However, during the storm, 2 of the 8 generals that were sent on this battle were commanded to save the drowning citizens. However, because of the storm, they were unable to. And even though that Sparta fled, and this was a complete victory when it ended, they were like they were going to be punished because the people that had died were citizens, not soldiers. People that the other citizens that didn't go to war knew and actually were friends with. So out of the 8 generals, 2 of them already ran for their life, and 6 of the rest of them, they wanted to go back and they thought that they were going to get a fair trial. Except when they came back, they were going to be sentenced to death trial. Originally, they asked Socrates to be the prosecutor, except he refused.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how do you guys think that the 6 generals were punished or were they innocent? Poseidon?
I think it shouldn't be completely their fault, but it should be the person's fault who had the idea of sending citizens to the war, not soldiers.
Yeah. Remy.
Probably they were sentenced to death.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Brian.
I don't think they should have been sentenced to death, but then I'm pretty sure they're crucified.
We can't hear you. Could you please?
We couldn't hear you because your mic was going out of range, I think.
I don't think they should have been sentenced to death, but then I'm pretty sure they got crucified.
Yeah, they got sentenced to death. So they were all killed. Yes.
你们觉得他们应该被判处死刑吗？
Yeah, do you guys think that this was fair and that they should have been killed?
No, because like the person who came up with the idea should be killed.
Well, technically, they didn't have any soldiers left to spare, so they could only use citizens. Patrick?
The citizens were either just build a giant wall and get the Spartans to try to crash through the wall while they train the citizens.
Yeah.
I think like they shouldn't be sentenced because if they have no more soldiers, like they don't really have a choice but to use citizens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So after the 6 generals were killed, then the people of Athens started feeling guilty. It's like, oh no, what have we done? The heroes of war were killed. Who killed them? Who do you guys think killed them?
Who killed the 6 generals? Who?
Poseidon.
I don't know what's after the generals, but is it like the water or the citizens or the guards?
Yeah, basically the citizens and the prosecutor, they voted to kill them. However, the citizens then blamed all the stuff on the prosecutors. However, the prosecutors were smart enough to actually run away instead of trying to get a fair trial. So then, they should have been celebrating because this was a giant victory about Sparta. Sparta actually ran away instead of, when they actually won against Sparta. However, because of just like some citizen deaths, they killed their heroes and tried to kill the people that killed the heroes. So basically, don't do something if you're going to feel like you're gonna regret it, because you see the people, they killed the 6 generals and then they regret it and they try to kill the prosecutors, which is like a ton of deaths. The whole thing should have been a celebration, except it wasn't.
对，这就是大家都经常诟病的，说雅典的这个民族反复无常的这么一面，因为他。你想他今天才杀死了那些将军，然后第二天又把杀死将军的那个人杀死。同样的案例，我如果说之前跟过我们上两个系列的课，还记得对苏格拉底其实也是这样的。你可以回顾一下苏格拉底的案例。
Socrates, he was then forced to drink poison and basically sentenced to death. And then the people then became remorseful and
feel regretted.
Yeah, and then they wanted to sentence the prosecutors to death. So basically the prosecutors, they were just the ones who just did the job, like what the citizens voted to do. They were just following orders. And then Socrates was like a victim of it, and then the prosecutors were also victims. So basically the real murderer were the Athenian citizens.
还有什么阿西比德呀这样的人物，都是因为太了解雅典人的这些德性了，所以说才直接就是被雅典人指控之后就逃离了雅典，根本就没有回去受审判，因为他知道就是以雅典人的这种个性来说，会把他宣判死刑。到时候即便是他们后悔了，说我不应该判你死刑，但是他自己本身就已经死了，所以说阿西比德就逃离了。
Exactly. And Alcibiades, he later went to help Sparta. Yeah, so when you know that your citizens think that you're powerful, you shouldn't be very powerful, because one day they think that you're going to save them, the next day they're going to start suspecting that you're going to turn into a tyrant and be like Hippias. However, those people made so much laws just to prevent a tyrant. Why don't you just wait until the day that they do? Okay, I can't really say this anymore because ancient Greek people are already dead, but the fact is just it's just frustrating when you're just like suspicious of them, even though they did nothing.
雅典民主的另外一个弱点呢，就是它只规定了，你拥有可以做什么的自由，就是你可以当官，你可以去当士兵，你可以怎么样，但是你是没有不做什么的自由，就是你没有 say no 的自由。Translate.
Yeah, so basically you can do something of your own free will, but you can't refuse something. Yeah. The Athenian weakness is that you can do something if you want to, but you can't refuse something even if you want to. If the Athenian government says, hey, go do this work, and it's going to be super tiring and you have to work 24/7, but just do it, don't question it. And if you just so much as question it, they will beat you with sticks and whips and such.
如果你拒绝去，他们让你去当官，而你拒绝去当官的话，就会被那个政府的养的那些奴隶就会打鞭子去打你。
Yeah, they have a special team of slaves just to do that. All right, now let's move on. So democracy developed. So at first, well, let's have a summary. So the first lawmaker was Draco, who made a law where big crimes, small crimes, or whatever you do, you're gonna die. And second was Solon, who replaced those rules and then removed debt slavery and then added many other things.
而且就是受伦会让你就是你努力变成一个有钱人之后，你也能当官。在他之前只有贵族才能当官。
Before him, only aristocrats could ever become like a general. But after Solon, even like a person who had no aristocratic relatives, if they like save up money and then they could become a general if they fall into the top category, which is 500 per year.
The first picture.
Yeah, the first picture is like the stuff on top of the roof of the Supreme Court. It's Confucius. Moses. Do you guys know Moses?
I only know Moses from the Bible.
Yeah, Moses from the Bible. And then on that side is Solon. Okay, next is Cleisthenes. He is the one who invented ostracism. Like in case someone gets too tyrannish, you can kick them out. He also invented the 10 clans, which gave them more power. One from each clan. Gave him more like a community. And last was Pericles, who established like more stuff, more fairness about jobs and such.
是的，现在的很多人说这是，古代雅典的民主非常的幼稚，然后时间非常的短暂。所以说对他的批评也很多，但是实际上我们想一想，中国的很多王朝其实也差不多也就100来年，然后也不算特别短了，而且他们在那个时候是这个历史以来从古至今最多的，就是在一个国家来说最多的人参与到这个政治权力当中的一种制度，对后面的这种我们的世界的这种政治的一些变革什么的，它的这个影响是非常正面的。所以我们虽然说了很多雅典的 democracy 的这种 weakness， 但是总体来说，我们认为它是相对而言是一个比较正面的一个制度。Please translate.
Yeah, even though like it was very cruel and weird and childish, but it was still a very good law at the time, and it set down the fundamentals of our own laws as of now. So basically we were just building up on them, and they were the ones that set the basis. We can't say that their laws are like bad. We can just say that they were just primal and like undeveloped. Now for final question. Which law that we mentioned, which one do you guys think was the most fair and which one was the least fair?
就是我们今天说的。
Can you review all the laws?
Can you repeat that?
Can you review all the laws again?
Okay, so first is the draconian laws, which were the ones that you get killed for every single thing. Soren had the ones where like money can decide what jobs you get, and also
4个等级。
Yeah, and then Cleisthenes, which was ostracism, you can exile someone, and Pericles, where you could Pericles, yeah, you could like the jobs. So basically, you would get the people who get the jobs are randomized. Or I bet every one of you guys think that Draco had the most unfair ones. Patrick?
Is still okay though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, he's okay compared to before.
Yeah.
I think none of the laws are fair.
Oh, which one do you think is the most fair?
The most fair? It's probably gonna be like the Pericles' laws.
Oh, yeah.
Brian.
Brian.
I also think that Pericles' law was the most fair, and the draconian laws were yes.
Yeah. Kathy.
I don't know any fair ones, but the most unfair one is that the one that you get killed for everything.
Yeah, Draconian laws. Poseidon.
I think draconian laws are still okay because they make sure that there's no bad people. And the thing that I still think is the best law is I also think it's the Pericles law.
Helios.
Helios. Good name.
I think is the draconian laws are most unfair because
Yeah, you get killed
for anything, and things that are, and you broke a very unimportant rule, like trespassing 1 centimeter on somebody else's land, and then you get killed.
Oh yeah, and you also, if you do nothing, then you also get killed.
Yeah, if you just lay around doing nothing, you get killed.
So basically, draconian laws is do something.
We
Get
don't
killed.
want to be
Don't do
the
something.
rabbit.
Get
we don't
killed.
want. All right, and that is all for today. Thank you all for listening, and see you all next time.
Okay, see you next time.
Goodbye, I guess.
Bye.
Thank you.